and it's my birthday today. I am 22. What the heck is happening? Today is my actual birthday and I'm not doing anything. If you know me at all, you know that I like to chill out and like stay home. That's like my thing. I'm just having a family dinner at my house tonight and I'm not dressing up, not going anywhere, but I still wanted to do my makeup and I thought I would film it. So this is kind of like my go-to daytime smoky eye, and I decided to pop on some false lashes because what the heck, it's my birthday and it only comes once a year. You'll see here in just a minute that prior to this happening here, I was a complete and utter disaster. I looked absolutely crazy, and I'll explain that in a minute too. So basically I'm wearing a lot of makeup right now, but I tried to make it look as skin-like as possible, and I just feel really fresh and glowy and so much better than I looked 20 minutes ago when I started filming this. One more thing before I jump into the actual tutorial, I just have to give my hairdresser a shout out because she killed it this time. I mean, she always kills it, but I mean, I'm officially like blonde now. Blonde, silver, silver blonde. In advance, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoy it, and let's jump into the tutorial. So while I'm prepping my skin, I'm going to tell you a little story about why I look so exhausted and why I'm really sort of pampering myself before I do my makeup. I had gotten like 2 hours of sleep before filming this. I was so wiped out because the day before, NYX Cosmetics posted one of my photos on their Instagram page, and I've never had anything like that happen to me before, and it was just so much excitement and like an early birthday present. So I spent all day like just staring at my computer screen in awe and just kind of celebrating and being excited and everything from that. I know that's so silly, but I was just so grateful and so shocked, and so because of that I could not fall asleep. I just couldn't, and it was also, you know, my birthday the following day, so I was just all wired and crazy. That's why I look so exhausted and why I'm doing as much hydrating as I can so my skin kind of comes back to life. Long story, I know. So as a primer, I'm using this Smashbox Photo Finish like pore minimizing primer. I've never used this before. This was just a little sample, and what I can say is less is more. Just put it where you need it. Don't put it all over. And then I'm going to conceal this horrendous blemish on my forehead with my IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer before I put on my foundation, because it was a mountain basically, and I have not had like a breakout on my skin for quite a while, and of course, you know, I happened to get a zit on my birthday. But it's nothing a little makeup can't fix. And then for my foundation, I am doing kind of a mixture of this Tem2 bronzer and my Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer in 2C3 Fresco, mixing that together on the back of my hand. I think I did 3 drops of the bronzer, and then I am using a dampened Real Techniques Beauty Sponge to blend that in all over my skin. I think it was the perfect match. I had done a little bit of a self tanner, so I just needed a little bit extra bronze and color in it to match my skin perfectly. And I'm just tapping out all around the edges of my hair, making sure I get into the hairline so it looks nice and seamless. Then I'm taking just the foundation, and I am using a little dome brush from Zoeva and just going over my mountain of a blemish again to make sure it's perfect. And then again, using this Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer from IT Cosmetics, I'm just using my ring finger and tapping that out all around my eye area, as well as priming over my eyelid using this, and then going over it with my Real Techniques Beauty Sponge again. And this just makes it look extra flawless and kind of takes away some of the cakiness, and you can see the difference between my 2 eyes there. And let's speed this one up. I'm using my Be a Bombshell Cosmetics Smooth Criminal Powder, and I'm using this on my Zoeva Tapered Highlight Brush, and I'm just putting this all over my eyelids and underneath my eyes, just wherever I put that IT Cosmetics concealer, just to set that. And then I'm using my Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder and using my Zoeva Powder Brush and kind of holding the brush so I can roll it on my skin and really press the powder in so I don't get a super powdery finish and it just looks super skin-like and natural. For my contour, I decided to use this Hoola bronzer from Benefit, and I am putting this on my cheekbones. I'm not really contouring the cheekbones. I'm kind of using this as a blush and then doing the normal contours around my face as well. So underneath the jawline and the temples of the forehead, just to bring a little bit of color back to my face and liven me up a little bit. And I am using my Zoeva Luxe Sheer Cheek Brush to do this. I love this shape, this sort of tapered angled brush. It is perfect for applying blush or bronzer or contour. It's super versatile. I highly recommend this brush for anyone who's sort of a beginner with makeup and isn't so confident. This will give you a seamless finish every single time. And then I'm using the little brush that comes inside of the Hoola bronzer box, and I am going alongside of my nose and also underneath my bottom lip to create some fullness and plumpness. And since my brows needed a little bit of maintenance, I thought it would be kind of cool if I showed this on camera. So what I'm doing is I'm just brushing my brow hairs up using a spoolie, and then I'm using little sewing scissors, just anything that's really sharp, really precise, and kind of delicate. It'll help get in there really easily. And I'm just going along the very top shape of my brow and trimming those little brow hairs. Sometimes I do more, sometimes I do less. I feel like I didn't need that much, so that's all I did. And then I am going to fill in my brows using this IT Cosmetics Brow Power Universal Pencil, and I'm starting in the front of my brow using light feathery strokes, and then I am going along the top of my brow, kind of creating a straight line and then a sharper angle towards the peak of my brow, and then sort of filling in all the sparse areas, going all over the place, seeing like whatever I need, and I just fill it in, and then I continuously brush through using the spoolie. And now I'm going underneath the brow and creating a little bit of a sharper line so it looks nice and clean and defined, and then extending the tail of the brow. Then I always like to bring it in a little bit closer to the center of my face, but I don't want a unibrow, just a tiny little bit of extension to make my nose appear thinner. So you can see the difference between the two brows, and there's both of them done. Now I'm using my L'Oreal Brow Stylist Brow Stylist Plumper, and I've only used this a few times, but so far I really love it because it holds my brows in place really beautifully and it lasts a very long time. I love the color. It's kind of foolproof. You can see I got a little bit underneath my brow, and I just used a clean brush to wipe it off. Now for my shadow, I'm using this Morphe Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette, and I'm first dipping into this sort of peachy brown color and a little blending brush from Zoeva and buffing that in my crease, my eye, and of course doing this on both eyelids, doing circular motions and windshield wiper motions, just making sure I cover it nicely. Then I'm going into this slightly darker sort of mauve-y, purpley brown pink color and using that same brush and just focusing this on the outer corners of my eyes. I mainly use circular motions at first to deposit the color on the lid, and then I sort of go back and forth to blend it. And then that's what it looks like there. Then I'm using that same color and a little tiny pencil brush and running that underneath the lower lash line, and just about halfway in I'm using this. And then of course the same thing on the other side. And also I wanted to point out that I do this a lot with just browns too, not like purples or mauves. It looks really beautiful with just plain browns as well. And then I'm going back into that very first lighter peachy brown color and using a little bit of a bigger blending pencil brush and just running that underneath the lash line, making sure it's all blown out and blended together nicely. And then using the blending brush that I used earlier to put the main color on the top of my lid, I'm just swooping that all around, making sure it's completely seamless. I want it to look flawless. I don't want any blotchiness or anything. Then I am using this dark brown color and focusing this on the very, very, very outer corner of my lower lash line and the top of my lid. You can see the shape that I'm making here, just like a little V shape. And this brush is pretty tapered and precise. I believe it is a Zoeva Luxe Petite Crease Brush, and it is perfect for both blending and putting color in a precise area. So I'm just focusing this on the outer corners of both eyes. And then I'm going in with a clean blending brush. This has nothing on it, and just going over that, making sure the top lid and the bottom lid kind of meld together perfectly. I want it to look like one big shadow around the outside corners of my eyes. Now I'm using my favorite shadow in the entire palette. It is this really beautiful pinky purple iridescent color, and I am just putting this on the inner 2/3 of my eye using a little flat shader brush and Oh my gosh. I mean, it's just like a magical color. I love how the color shifts when you turn your head or in the light. It's just so pretty. It adds a little something, something. It's not sparkly. It's not in your face. It's just so beautiful. And then once again, I'm using that Luxe Petite crease brush, using a little bit more brown and just deepening up the outer corner to get the exact dimension that I want. And then to line my waterline, I'm using my NYX Wonder Pencil in the color Light. And I really like this because it's not super heavy, it does last a long time, and it just looks really natural, honestly. I think it's more natural looking than the Rimmel one that I have. For mascara, I'm using this Dior Iconic Overcurl Mascara, which is amazing, but I think that you should only do one coat with this because when I do 2 coats, it kind of clumps up. It doesn't really make it look more voluminous. I would just spend a little bit more time putting on that first coat and making it look perfect, and just doing it once. And it looks flawless. I love it. So it's a really good mascara. It's a little bit on the drier side, and I love how the wand is shaped because it grabs the lashes really easily and I don't have to work that hard to do it. And then putting this on the bottom lashes too because I cannot skip those. Those need to be showing. I decided that I wanted to take this look up a notch using some false lashes. These are by Vegas Nay in Shining Star. Now, I have really small eyes, so I had to trim them quite a bit and actually make the actual lashes shorter because it looked absolutely ridiculous on me, but they were so comfortable and I really liked how these went on, and they were so inexpensive, like $5. And then what I'm doing is I'm using a brown shadow, like dark brown, or you can use black, and I'm just putting this underneath the lashes to blend my natural lashes with the lash band a little bit better. If I were to do this over again, I would put that down first and then the lashes. Now I am mixing these 2 colors from my Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit in Gleam, and I'm putting those on the inner corners of my eye using a little Zoeva brush. This is one of my favorite brushes. It is called the Detail Shader. And then I'm going into Crushed Pearl and just putting that underneath my eyebrow. Give it a little bit more highlight, and I'm just kind of laying that on the very high point. I'm not going underneath the entire brow. And then I'm using a little bit of a fatter, fluffier brush and blending it out. And then putting Crushed Pearl again on my nose and on my Cupid's bow. Then I wanted to sort of emphasize my freckles. I have a few on my face, so I used this NYX eyebrow marker, and this one is in the shade, what are you? In the shade medium, and I am just kind of dotting this over the places that I have a few like little freckles. Maybe this is really silly and you don't have to do this, but I like the way it looks. I like to show my freckles because I only have a few, so I gotta just work it. Gotta work it, man. Okay, for blush, I'm mixing these 2 top colors from the same Anastasia Glow Kit. Can we take a moment to appreciate how stunning this is? I'm going to do this more often because it gives you the healthiest, most amazing looking glow. Oh my goodness. And then for my lips, I am using this Spice liner from MAC. And you know how to line your lips. I just like to focus on the outer corners mainly and straighten that line out a little bit. This just sort of gives me a little bit more fullness just by fixing that outer corner. And then following my natural lip line on the bottom. For lipstick, I am using this Ofra liquid lipstick in the color Pasadena. This is one of my favorite sort of mauve nudes of all time, and I love this formula. Oh my goodness, isn't this just so pretty? Okay, and then I wanted to do a little bit of an ombre lip, so I'm using this NYX Extreme Lip Cream, and this one is in the shade Natural. And I am just putting this on the center of my lip and tapping it out with my finger, and there you go, a super easy ombre lip. To set my entire face, I am using this Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, and then to finish the look off, I am using this Bronze Goddess Shimmering Body Oil Spray by Estee Lauder. It smells like coconut, and it has the most beautiful rose gold sparkles in it. So I'm putting this on my shoulders and down my arms, and then also on my décolleté, just to give a little bit of shimmer and hydration, and just smells absolutely amazing. And there you have it. That is the finished look. Thank you so much for watching.